What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Bama Football on YouTube post-game show with the coaches. It's your boy, Coach Smook. We're here with Coach Jay tonight, Jarek at Jan Sports, man. Coach Sean will not be with us tonight, but we will have Kyle with Bama Football on YouTube coming in. Kyle Henderson going to be coming in. Jay, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show, bro. We're back at it. It's another W. Jesus Christ. Come on, Jay. Give me your initial reaction. Let's jump into it, bro.
I needed this night. I needed this day so much, man. I needed this game. I was having such a bad day. But no, I needed it. This was phenomenal. This was something that we haven't had in almost about a year and a half, man, of our backups playing meaningful time for 7 minutes and 26 seconds. That's insane. Everything I thought clicked tonight. We had a rough couple of drives, but we just clicked ever since then. The offensive line, I thought, played great. Defense was all over the football field. We made some mistakes. Here and there. But, I mean, like I said, like Coach was telling me backstage, man, if you're going to make mistakes, man, you better go all in. And, man, this was just an awesome performance. I don't want to hear any more of the Jalen. Just real quick, I don't want to hear any more of the Jalen Milroe haters. I'm done with it. We got to stop, man. Because all of a sudden we were down those two drives, and all of a sudden they just came out the woodwork saying put Ty Simpson in the game. Ty Simpson is the starter. We got it's over.
It's over with.
Jalen Milroe is the starter. It's over. Please.
He's the starter. He's the proven leader. The team believes in him. The staff believes in him. The quarterbacks in that room believe in him. You see those guys rallying around Jalen Milroe when he has a bad play. You don't see guys standing off. You see guys rallying around him trying to see where his head is at, man. This team mentality has taken such a turn. It's surprising me. The mentality, the attitude that I see on the field, the level of aggression. I just want to highlight something. Everybody's talking about Milroe and him not being able to pass the ball. We were able to go 12 pass attempts with Milroe, 12 design pass attempts. Well, it was 14 design pass plays. He took 2 sacks on pass plays, but 12 pass attempts he took. He was 10 of 12. This is his second game of being at least 80% in passing. No turnovers. No, he did not get a touchdown, which should have been reviewed. One of those incompletions should have been reviewed because Knee Black was close. It was arguably a touchdown catch by Knee Black, but we'll get into that. But 10 of 12 again. Guys, this man has had a total of 4 incompletions the last 2 games. You can't ask for anything better. And in the run game, 193 total yards of rushing tonight from this Alabama offense, and the defense, man, holding that total offensive total to, I think, less than 300. They were less than 300 total yards offense, giving up to holding Mississippi State to less than 300. Man, you can't ask for a better game from on the road. Cowbells ringing early. We saw the early miscommunications and we saw the adjustments. Guys, we can't ask for nothing more. Chat, let's dive into some of these comments, man. Let's get into it. I want to start at the top. Appreciate everybody for jumping in. First of all, before we continue, man, once again, thank you for joining the late night show. Tonight is a late one. We know it's late, but guys, after a game like that, you can't help but be up and try to at least digest a little bit of that game. We talking about Maria Roll Tide showed up early for the post-game show. My guy Buck said our inside linebackers have been lost all night and Downs is having the worst game of the year. Are you serious? You must have said that in like the first quarter. Maybe. You had to be in here in the first quarter. But Roll Tide, thank you for showing up. Win Alabama, see Bama. Appreciate you for showing up, man. Let's not be negative after a 40-17 win. Hoodie Vaughn, you can't help but be positive when you say the defense held this was a top 15 rated offense, overall rated offense, I believe, coming into tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they only had one game where they scored under 20 with these. I mean, they were scoring 28, 35. For the most part, they were an efficient offense.
My guy, One Way Studio said Miro did his thing. I'm right there with you. Jalen maintained composure. His composure, like we've been highlighting since week 1, guys. He said they shut our offense down after halftime, which is a little concerning, but huge SEC road win. I won't necessarily say shut them down. I will say, and we'll get into this later, I will say this, though, Jay. Our offense looked more confident in the second half. For us to only be producing those field goals, I think the offensive line, Jalen Milroe, the wide receivers, they're becoming a lot more confident in the play calling because guys are flying around on that offensive side. Minor breakdowns that I could see being fixed against another weak defensive front in Texas A&M that I believe to be a weak defensive front when it comes to you talking about pass rush. But defending the interior run game. But I think we're going to be solid, man. Any comments you see, man? Clinton Howard's in the house, man. One of our members, Roll Tide. Clinton Howard's in the chat. You see any comments you want to address, Coach Dave?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, shout out to my boy SB. But I mean, come on, man. This off. If you haven't seen the major improvements that this offense made today, man, saying that the offense sucked. I mean, it did not suck. You can make a legit argument that the offense was the best part of this team of tonight. Normally it's the defense, but today the offense had to make key plays. They had to make adjustments. They had to extend certain drives because there were times where Mississippi State had the momentum. They had initial drives, right? They were rushing. I mean, like I said, as great as this defense played tonight, Mississippi State still had over 150 yards on the ground. They still had a lot of success, especially coming out of the second half. And guess what? The offense still had the ability to extend key drives and to overall ruin the momentum. So this offense showed major improvement today. I love the play calling. I love the play design today. I thought that it was pretty smooth. Jalen Milroe, for the most part, didn't waste opportunities.
Yes,
we can talk about how much he's improved as a passer. But one thing I really liked about him this game was his overall game awareness. Yes. To know that, you know what, I'm not going to force the ball. I'll take a sack here because guess what? We have a Luke Rose award finalist. You know that can get us 3 points. Take the sack. Throw the ball away. Take the underneath route. Take the underneath route if the deep ball isn't there. Taking whatever the defense gives it to you, and if it's not really there for you, then guess what? Just get rid of it or take the sack. That's what we're talking about. That's overall improvement of this offense. And again, guys, over 190 yards on the ground game. The offensive line, for the most part, with the exception of 2 drives, was dominant all night long. This offense did a phenomenal job tonight, and we got to give him praise. Got to give him praise for tonight.
Hey guys, I see a lot of you guys, and this is something that I don't get about this Alabama fan base right now, and I have to address it, Coach Jay. We talk about how we need to rely on the run game this day and the third. Tonight, right. That's exactly what we did, and because the wide receivers didn't get 24 opportunities to make 24 catches, we're talking about wide receivers going. No, these wide receivers are enjoying handling guys on the edge and getting there. They're getting clear. They're getting clear offensive opportunities. They're getting opportunities to go and make plays, not things that are mixed up. They're not, their opportunities in the passing game aren't being questioned. Like there were no bad mistakes made when you talk about the pass game. When you talk about reads being made, you had 1 drop by a receiver, and then you had 1 questionable incompletion. That's what you had. 12 total pass attempts thrown in this game. Maybe 14, 15 could have been thrown, but they were not forced. I see these wide receivers enjoying playing ball and handling the edges. We saw great blocking on the perimeter by wide receivers, which is one thing I want to highlight. Everybody asking where Jermaine Burton was. He got hurt. Where was he at? Hurt. They rolled up on his ankle while he was run blocking. Good engagement in blocking in the run game. These wide receivers are going to get their opportunities later because this the run game is going to be a focal point. People are going to have to walk safeties down into the box like we saw Mississippi State do. And what happened when we saw that? We saw clean pockets because our protection. These guys have been putting their weight on the guys. Now they can sit back and take a break and absorb some of this push that these guys don't really have now because they've had to exert so much energy trying to hold these guys off run blocking all game. So the old school strategy is playing into our advantage. The only difference is we're doing it in different formations. This 12 personnel is lethal. Our 12 personnel is lethal. You talking about Knee Black, Dupree, Knee Black, Oots, Dupree. That 3-man rotation right there in our 12 personnel is nasty. And I love what we're seeing from these guys as far as efficiency, guys. We saw steady growth and adjustments throughout the whole game on both sides of the ball. So as we get into tonight, guys, let's dive in. I know we jumped on the offensive side, but I really want to key in on what this defense was able to do, Coach Jay. I really want to key in on the defense. Let's talk about the linebacker play. We were very worried about having Deontay Lawson not be able to suit up this game. That was one of our areas of concern coming into this game. Would Campbell be able to carry over his momentum from last game? Came in, played a solid game, him and Blackshire, and they came in and they showed up. Tonight, how would you assess the inside linebacker play? And I mean, when I say the inside linebacker play, we saw a solid 3-man rotation in Marshall, Campbell, and Blackshire. How would you assess their play? And before you get to that, shout out to my guy, Duke to Go $22. Roll Tide Roll. Love this show. It's slowly shaping up. I am right there with you, brother. Go ahead, Coach Jay. How do you feel about this inside linebacker play, brother?
If I had to give him a grade, I'd probably give him a B. I think the inside linebackers, like I said, we made some key mistakes. There were times where I think Tresvant Marshall got lost at times. There were some, again, there were other opportunities where I think a lot of people will blame the defensive line for for Mississippi State's success rushing the ball. Again, I think they had over 150 yards on the ground. But for the most part, that was just, I think a lot of it, our inside linebackers were just not in the best possible positions. I think, again, they took a little bit of the wrong pursuit angles at times. But what I did like about inside linebackers was that when they made those mistakes, when they were running inside the wrong gaps or taking the wrong angle of pursuit, they were still putting in 100% of the effort. They were still trying to chase down the ball as much as possible. And guess what? There were times where they gambled and they failed, but there were other times where they also gambled and it was a success. Because we got to talk about the other positives, which was the fact that they were able to force turnovers. They were able to get sacks. They were able to absolutely demolish the offensive line whenever you want to send them inside when it came to blitzing, because it allowed our other defensive linemen, our interior defensive linemen, opportunities for them to get the matchups that they want in order for them to get to the quarterback. So we got to take that into account. Then even in coverage, right? Jahad Campbell, that interception, what he was able to make, where he was just hitting right underneath where Will Rogers didn't really see him. That was excellent coverage.
Yes,
that was excellent position and excellent timing for Jahad Campbell. That is something that we really like. And again, linebackers wise, again, did they have the best possible game? No, but this was kind of like one of those instances where when they it's gambling. When they gambled, they made plays, but there were other times where they also lost their matchups. But to a point, again, we only allowed 17 points. We only allowed 17 points against a very efficient and explosive offense. And a lot of that has to do with the inside linebacking play. But overall wise, I love the effort.
Yes.
I love overall the communication. It was just, for the most part, the only problem I really had was the fact that we were a little inconsistent with taking the pursuit angles and sometimes just being out of position here and there. But that's something that's easily cleanable. Easily cleanable. So that's not a big issue in my opinion going forward, going A&M.
Right, man. And you highlighted everything I was going to say, man. Especially, I see the comments. Everybody's saying, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. We have a defensive style gameplay where you have to gamble in order for your defensive presence and the type of pressure you want to impose. You have to gamble. And what makes Kevin Steele such a great defensive coordinator in my eyes is his ability to adjust the timing of his gambles. And we saw the effects of that tonight. We saw early where he wasn't gambling as much early downs, and that wasn't bringing the type of effect that we thought. Even though we were recovering on the back end with coverage, we were playing solid gap fit. We were holding our run gaps. We were holding those gaps solid. And to your point, in the second half, you saw him dial up the pressures more. That's when you saw those run gaps starting to open up. And when he saw those run gaps becoming went from 3-yard gains to 12-yard gains to a 17-yard game to the 22-yard game, which was the longest run game of the night. That's when he caught off the pressures in early downs. And we saw him go back to the second down pressure, third and passing pressure, even third and short pressures. I saw it, and it was effective tonight. The fourth and passing pressure, the first one was kind of off because Campbell took a horrible angle, and he beat himself up there. But we saw his speed, his ability to recover and adjust mid-play. And that's one thing I love about this defense, especially is the speed. At the second level, meaning the linebacker level, outside of our outside linebackers, we have seen the interior linebacker speed that we haven't been able to enjoy or see be effective since possibly a healthy what's my guy Dylan Moses freshman year. When we had all that speed his freshman year, and him and Shane Lee were thrown into that fire, but we saw speed from those guys. They just were confused under Pete Golden, So I said all that to say this, man. The inside linebacker play, and I seen the question, where was Kendrick Blackshire? Kendrick Blackshire was very effective and disruptive in every run. You go and look at every run play that had a negative play. He and Marshall were very disruptive. And we asked where Marshall was. Marshall he should have had 3 sacks tonight, but he came away with 1.5. They gave him a half sack for that second one, but Marshall was getting pressure on the quarterback. It was 2 times I thought they were going to call a late hit on Marshall. And I love the fact that he was able to deliver a solid hit in phase without hit him above the helmet, hit him in the helmet or going low and all of these things. Old school Alabama linebacker play is what I was able to evaluate tonight. And I was more than satisfied. If I was to give him a grade, I'm right there with you. I give him a B+. The only reason I give him those dings is because of the angles we take in pursuit as far as the flats, how we pursue the curl, the swing routes, the quick outs, all of those things. I think those guys can focus on that, and we'll have a plus type inside linebacker core with Lawson coming back next week. Go ahead.
When you take a look at the statistics, I mean, for a lot of people that are critiquing the linebackers, I mean, Jahai Campbell had 14 total tackles, half a sack, 1 tackle for loss, and an interception. And then everyone who wants to critique Trezor Marshall's playing that he did not play really well today. Well, he had 9 tackles. He had 2 tackles for loss with a 1.5 sack.
Yes.
And we haven't even talked about the plays where they were extremely effective when it came to rushing the gaps, where a lot of our interior defensive linemen and safeties were able to clean up right behind the line of scrimmage. Like they had. I mean, for the most part, they had a solid game. They made some key mistakes, but you got to be pleased losing your best linebacker in Deontay Lawson, and then all of a sudden to have your backups come in and absolutely cause havoc and force valuable turnovers, which led to scoring drives.
Right. And then we highlight a lot of things with this defense, but we're the inside linebacker play was an effect of the defensive front. The defensive front played a solid game tonight, all 4 quarters. I haven't seen us get a consistent push like that when you talk about affecting the run game. Not necessarily the pass. It was a few plays in the passing game where we gave them a few time because we were rushing for it, but overall, I think we played disciplined and we played aggressive up front, and that set the tone for those inside linebackers. Will Rogers went 15 to 27, just over 50%, 1 touchdown pass, but 3 interceptions. If you look at every interception except for that last one, he had a hand in his face. He had people around his body when he was releasing that ball, and guys were playing the ball and not the man in the air. That's one thing I've seen about this defense. You can do that when guys are hitching and double checking their second guessing their initial reads. 15 to 27 for 107 yards, guys. The longest reception given up tonight was 22 yards. The most receptions given up to was Leandra Griffin, who was there 260 some or 220 some yards last week against South Carolina. Yeah, this guy had 5 receptions. Three receptions were behind the line of scrimmage, or 4 passes from behind the line of scrimmage, and then 2 were downfield. What the 15-yarder gave him most of his yards, which was a total of 21 yards. So we played assignment football on the defense. Shout out to Don Parker, for the $5 super chat. Angry Nick Saban is a wonderful thing. The identity of this team is starting to shape up. Still a lot of work to do and improvements to make. Roll Tide, roll. Hey, Roll Tide, Don, for the super chat. Man, I'm right there with you. Soon as Nick Saban snapped, and I you know what? I made a statement on Twitter today, Jarek. I don't know if you saw it. I was talking about Coach Saban coaching Coach Reese and allowing him this year, and he's not going to just throw him into the fire. This season is too important to the development and the future of this program. He's putting parameters around Tommy Reese and allow him to be creative within those parameters. And I think Tommy Reese is understanding and realizing early in this season, just right when we need him to, right in conference play, that I don't have to do a lot to be successful with this offense. I don't have to think a lot. I just need to let these guys be who they are. And that's freakish athletes. Allow them to dominate the man across from them, allow them to win matchups, allow my quarterback to make easy reads, and just continue to grow and let this thing develop as they get more comfortable. What's your take? Right. How do you feel about that, man? Overall, just how this is developing, how this season is just developing up until this point.
Well, I will say this game is exactly what I thought Alabama was going to play the entire way. That's why I have no idea why people are complaining that our offense is just not explosive or innovative enough. This is what we thought the offense was going to be, which was dominate the line of scrimmage, play simplistic football, have Jalen Milroe take what the defense gives them, and then the defense, for the most part, use their freakish athleticism to dominate the game. And then we're going to play just game management type football. I have no idea why people are upset of the way that we're playing right now against Mississippi State. We are not in the Tua era. That's
No.
gone. We are in the Tommy Reese era. We are in the Jalen Milroe era. We talked about this all offseason, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about how this was going to be the type of football team that could, which, by the way, which works. I think Georgia was one of those teams that proved that you can still win playing this type of style. So I don't know. That's just kind of one thing I have to get on my chest. But no, I love how the way that this offense is evolving. I really do. Again, the first couple games, the first really 2-3 games, there were definitely some surprises. There were definitely some concerns. We definitely felt like Jalen Milroe wasn't really used a lot in the right possible way and being put in the best possible situations. But I think when you take a look at the last couple of games, again, Tommy Reese is starting to learn. He's starting to develop. Yes. He's starting to understand his quarterback's tendencies. Because notice in this game, we went right back to the quarterback power where Jason Keller was the lead blocker. We ran that. I think we ran that a couple times this
Three
game.
times in the first half.
3 times. Yeah.
And one was called early because of the jump, but 3 times in the first half, man. So he's understanding. That's the main thing I want people to see. He's understanding. Can I address this just real quick, brother? What happened to the crossing routes at middle of the field attack? Feel we take away too many deep shots. Guys, in a game like this, you have to pay attention to what defense you're playing against. Mississippi State is going to play a 3 high safety look. They're going to lean on that. We saw that's why our run game was, if we could not get the run game going, that would be a problem because they're going to line guys. They're going to line that third DB, that 4th, 5th DB up. 3 of those DBs are going to be 10 to 12 yards off of the ball. If you can't expose that and run the ball, you can't have success in the passing game. And we saw that early. We saw the play calling style get changed up because we saw them bring the look, but they kept dropping. They was not giving us the one-on-one looks that we wanted early. And when they did, we capitalized every time. You talking about a quarterback who really, in my eyes, went 11 of 13. Wait. It should have been 11 of 12. It should have been 11 of 12 in tonight's game. You get what I'm saying? Because that knee black, y'all could take it to the grave, man. I'm giving knee black that catch, man. Hey, shout out to my guys. My fault, man. Real quick, Ace Production shot. Ace Production shout out for the $2 super chat, and then High Power TV. Jalen Milroe is still taking costly sacks, but he is improving in the pocket. I still want to see more quick throws to get him in rhythm early. High Power TV with the $4.99 super chat. Shout out to both of you guys with the super chats. Coach Jay, take it away, bro.
Now, I was about to say, it could have been 12 for 12 that pass to Jalen Hill if Jalen Milroe could just got a little bit more time delivering the bucket because, he was able to get hit and then he was not able to put all his, pretty much have that accuracy, that touch in order to give it to Hill. If he would have had more time, that was a one-on-one matchup that was won by Hill clearly that we could have been talking about a 12 for 12 game. So, no, I agree with you. Like, Jalen Milroe played as efficient as I would want. 106, again, was it 300 yards? No. But overall wise, I was just super impressed. He was extremely efficient. He was going through his progressions when the offensive line gave him time. And when he didn't trust his reads, when he didn't trust his eyes a little bit, he would either try to take off or he says, you know what, I'll take the sack because I'm loving the situation that we're in right now. We're still in a position to get points as a result. I would rather get the points than the simple follow-up with turnovers or
zero
careless throws or anything that can lead to injury. So that's what I'm happy about. And again, it's going to take some time to develop for Milroe in order for him to really get it all together. But we're seeing progression. 2 games in a row now where we're seeing really the season. You can make an argument all season long. We've seen steady growth and steady progression. He's made some key mistakes in tonight, but tonight, guys, this was his best game. It's not even close. By far his best game. And I can't wait to see what he does against A&M if he can keep up this momentum.
Right. And shout out to Joseph Washington for the $5 super chat. Fans been crying for old school football. But when we run 42 times with 13 passes, they cry. The old score 33 points easily. Other people's kids, I swear. Shout out to Joseph Washington for the $5 super chat. Justin, I'm right there with you, man. My fault is Joseph. I'm right there with you, Joseph. We knew we saw this team could not pass the ball 30 times and be successful with Milroe back there when he had all of these other assets that we can use and at least put to test, at least for, give it a 60% play calling style for him, at least before you evade it and try to make him a passer. And that's what we saw tonight. We relied on this guy's ability to rely on his athleticism in both the passing and the run game. Most of his drops back passes were in phase, stuff that he's comfortable with, deep outside throws, quick outs, deep outs, things to the sideline. We didn't force him to go across the middle when we didn't need to. Especially when they got a linebacker spine and a third safety sitting over top in the middle. Every play, go watch how simple Mississippi State made it for Jalen Milroe to be effective in our run game, and you'll see why there was no middle crosses and deep middle routes being thrown a lot this game. Coach, he said, Coach, these fans, Coach Smook, I see the game the way you did. Milroe impresses me more and more. Plus, on the road, good job. Shout out to Donna B. Curious. That's one of my Twitter homies. This is my Bama sister, man. Me and her get active on Twitter all day when it's game day. I love it, man. All week she's got some hot takes. And honestly, man, I would love to hear some of her takes for real when she, on some of Kyle's calling shows, because she's very knowledgeable of the game with some of the opinions she takes. But definitely, guys, I really feel like we're discrediting what this young man in Jalen Milroe has been able to do through all the offseason pressures, through all the being not necessarily benched, because I was able to tell you all what the backstory was behind that game, the USF game. But just to be able to go through that adversity and still maintain his composure. Not once has maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm just in the bliss of a great 2011, 2012 type Alabama win that we experienced tonight. But Jalen Milroe has yet to be rattled this season, composure-wise. No. Looks on his face. Yet, even the Texas game, I did not see a rattle. Yes, he made some questionable decisions. A young quarterback in that type of environment, it was a big game. He made some questionable decisions. He made big plays. I mean, he just had a game. He had a growing game, and we saw it develop. I haven't seen him be rattled yet. What about you, Jay? Can you agree with me?
Oh, I absolutely agree. He has not been rattled one time. Again, we take a look at the South Florida game. I think a lot of people thought that was going to affect his confidence. And then you take a look at the clip where he's one of the first people to greet Ty Simpson. I think that he's the leader of this team, right? He's the vocal leader. He's the guy that for the most part wants to make an example of the team. He's the first guy. He's always the first person in the tunnel. He's the first person that's trying to greet his teammates when they're trying to enter the tunnels, turning right back around and making sure to slap each and every single one of his teammates up. He's exactly what we need, right?
Right.
That Jalen Hurts type of leader. And I think a lot of us have been pretty much spoiled of national championship and stuff like that, because I think a lot of us, and I would include myself into it, would for the most part would kind of get on Jalen Hurts, because like as a passer, he's not going to be the one that's going to take it, and involve the team. Well, I tell you what, if we had 2016 and 2017 Jalen Hurts with this offense and the way that he can be composed and just kind of his overall play style, I mean, we would be national championship favorites the way that this year is going. Because I'm telling you, this season is open.
Different. It is different.
It's not one team this year that is just the
don't even touch it. Don't even touch it. Don't even touch it, because you know it, and we will get off and be going, because honestly, guys, and the reason why it's hard to nitpick at this game is because you can't tell me that the same Alabama offense from last week's first half showed up this first half. You could say that the first half offense showed up in the first two drives of this game. And then we saw the second half offense from Ole Miss game step on the field on the third drive. And then the defense, I mean, a solid game overall. Yes, there were miscues, but you got to understand, we're not dealing with a Kentucky offense where they're basically one-dimensional. They're going to rely on their run game. This is a balanced Mississippi State offense who has had success on both the ground and in the air. And Will Rogers is an experienced quarterback. You saw how many starts this guy has. This guy's not a rookie, and we forced him into 3 picks, guys. One being a pick 6. I mean, if you can't see this defense just comfortable, having fun playing football, you guys are missing it. You're missing you're missing the point we've been making since the beginning. It's a process. We got to trust the process. Shout out to High Power TV for the $1.99 super chat again. I was hoping he went to the halfback toss. Yes, we saw a halfback toss. It got blew up, but it was good to see a halfback toss in the 12-man formation. I like that, the 12-man personnel. Yeah. So the first run by Justice shows this kid is special. He might be the best running back. I won't give him the best running back just yet, David.
He's the most
shout out to you,
sure.
But he's definitely has the highest ceiling for where he's coming in at as a freshman, and the type of talent in front of him for him to be able to get out there and still be able to have eyes on him. I see another Najee Harris type career coming through for Justice, if not better. Meaning this kid Heisman type ability. You get what I'm saying? From what we've seen in the past from running backs that have won the Heisman, there's no reason why Justice Haynes and this offensive line that's going to continue to grow. We got Booker for at least another year. We might lose. We're going to lose Latham this year. We're going to lose Seth. We got Booker. We got Proctor. We got Ferguson coming next year. We got Olaneem, McVay, all these guys set up for this guy and his front, and it's just going to continue to get better. And then you got a guy like Julian Saint coming in probably for his junior year as a starter. That's going to take that attention, possibly pull that attention off of him. Come on, guys, we got to set up for the future. But yes, Justice Haynes, I believe we see him early, Texas A&M. What about you, Jay?
I hope so, man. I mean, I loved his balance, man. I mean, we were talking about that in backstage, man. When he was just getting the ball and just overall his contact balance is just, oh my God, that is just insane to watch. I hope he gets an opportunity. I really do hope he gets an opportunity. Again, you know, you got to love what Jason Rodo kind of bring to the table as far as physical running backs, but I think Justice just brings a different element to the game that both running backs just don't quite have. And that's just that explosive, that the vision, the contact balance, the ability to read, to just read holes at an elite level, the quickness, the footwork. I mean, there's just
he's
certain
only a
things.
Freshman, bro.
He's only a freshman. I'm telling you, man, sophomore and junior year, he's going to be scary. It's going to be scary. I can't wait to see it.
Coach Jay, think about this. He's an 18-year-old freshman. He just turned 18 coming into this semester, this fall season. Justice Haynes just turned 18. This kid hasn't even hit his grown man's growth spurt, and he's built like a NFL running back. And his balance, his ability to read the holes. Jace McCullough and Roydell Williams are probably you can take this 1-2 punch that we have with Jace and Roydell, and everybody in the SEC would love to have them healthy right now, Georgia included.
Yeah,
would love to have this 1-2 punch. But we have a true freshman running back who can easily replace either one of them and possibly add more value to the 1-2 punch. That is awesome to have. That is an awesome problem to have. I want to address this. Was it Smook or Kyle that called your shot on Caleb's first INT? I don't know which show y'all been watching, but I called this on the latest show I was live on. I won't, name dropping them, but I know for a fact I've been calling for Caleb Downs' first INT, and I said this game after watching the Mississippi State game, I said it Wednesday or Thursday night. Caleb Downs will get his first pick this game.
I think you said it on Monday too. On Monday too.
So I don't know when it was, but I know I've been echoing it all week. I just see this kid. He doesn't play like a true freshman. Another true freshman that when we talk about quality of recruits, man, everybody talk about we missed out on Peter Woods. Peter Woods is getting manhandled up at Clemson right now, and that is what it is. Caleb Downs, true freshman on the field right now. Could have had one last week, with him and Arnold. They sharing picks, and then this week, just beautiful read, man. Beautiful read. Trusting his instincts, trusting the design of the defense, trusting the call, trusting the players, trusting his coaching. That was a coachable moment. Coachable moment. Shout out to my guy, Airline Reef, for the $9.99 super chat, man. Guys, we've been talking about this. Oh, we got another super chat. I'm sorry, y'all. Clint Howard, $5 super chat. Defense played well tonight, and the O-line is making steady improvement every week. Coach Jay, talk about the O-line. That's been our probably the biggest area of evaluation we've been focusing on since the season started. From Texas week, because I think we gave him a B+ overall, Middle Tennessee State week, and then you guys beat me up for giving them a C- against Texas, and y'all was giving them D's and stuff. So, tell me how you've assessed them since that Texas game.
I think we definitely were in a decline for like the first, after those 3 weeks. But for the most part, this game, the last couple games we've been steadily progressing. I think the Ole Miss game in the second half, I think we were able to kind of settle some things down. I think that in a way, that kind of goes to our play calling where we decided to kind of run it downhill instead of just trying to, bounce everything to the boundary. We just decided to run it downhill. We average around, again, 330 pounds. Let's actually use that weight towards our advantage to tire out the defensive front. And again, if we have to go into pass pro at that point, they're going to be too tired. And we can, like you said before, they can absorb that weight and we can have better protection for Milroe, like you saw tonight. And you saw in the second half, for the most part, in the second half against Mississippi State, we only really, with the exception of the first 2 drives where we gave up those 2 sacks, we only gave up one. Which was when Jalen Milroe decided to take it was more of a coverage sack. I thought it was just overall just pretty solid coverage.
He should have just threw it away. I think he said that too when he got up. And that's accountability is a big thing with his offensive line. Dalcourt has played 2 solid games, bro.
He has him and Proctor.
You know that feeling you get in your mouth when you about to puke. It almost gives me that feeling to admit that, because I had no hope for this guy after that USF game, the Texas game. I was ready to give the Middle Tennessee State game. Him getting blown up by that linebacker on the second level. I just lost all hope for Dalcourt. But these last 2 games, I don't know what the adjustment's been made, but he's been probably our second best offensive lineman, maybe third.
Yeah.
And our worst offensive lineman to this point, who hasn't shown me any improvement, is Seth McLaughlin. If we want to nitpick about any position on the offensive line not improving, Seth McLaughlin with these snaps, these high snaps, these low snaps. The low snaps get me. I don't think we even realize how much Milroe does to secure the snap. And then to get up and make the reads that he's making, and to be as efficient as he is, and to be as calm as he is. Yes, McLaughlin is making up on the pass pro. He's solidified the interior pass pro today. I will say that. He made a lot of great reads. Him in that running back pass pro was nice today. But the snaps definitely got to improve, man, because I believe that's probably like 60% of Milroe's comfortability, getting a good snap. Because when he can get that ball, it's a smooth snap. You get your eyes downfield in the pass game, or you're able to quickly catch the ball and make that read option read or whatever. Whenever the snap is good, you're setting yourself up for success. What's your take on that, man? How does that make you feel for me to say that? Because I'm a big Seth fan, so
it's a little worrisome, because you're seeing a kind of a steady decline from how he played from 2021 and how he was able to get his opportunity again in 2022. And then he was able to become a stable piece, and a big reason why the offensive line showed some improvement during that 2021, where obviously we're in the national championship game. And so we got to see that better. I have no idea what the issue is, because at first maybe we're thinking, okay, well, what, maybe he's trying to make up for the time of our interior offensive line, because they are getting beat a lot inside during those first couple games, especially in the Texas game, and he had to try to count it. We got a super chat.
Yes, sir. Coach. Okay. Matt Hodgins, $4.99 super chat. Old Testament saving. Multiple turnovers and scores from the defense. We ran well. Joyless murder ball is back. Bro, I've been trying to contain my emotions all night.
I'm kind of with you. I'm like, I don't want to go there yet. I don't want to fall for the rat poison. Remember Nick Saban talked about that in the Pac.
It's hard not to. Is it hard? Alabama fans, let's take a deep breath. Everybody together right here, right now, in this moment. Take a deep breath and think about what just happened. Alabama just went on the road into Starksville, Mississippi, and beat a Mississippi State team with a third-year starting quarterback, or fourth-year starting quarterback. 36 starts on his belt. Prolific offense that just went for 300-some yards passing last week against a solid South Carolina team. They were solid going into that game. Held them to under 150 yards rushing. They held them to under basically at 150 yards rushing. We're not gonna count the garbage time, but 150 yards in good, meaningful playing time. We got points in every quarter from our offense, defense too. We got points in every quarter. We only had 2 scoreless offensive drives in meaningful game time. Guys, we controlled the game. We did what we were supposed to do as Alabama. And when we talk about the old school style of football, we imposed our will, we relied on the run game, and we got a big win, a big conference win. What more can we ask for at this point in time in the state of where our Alabama fan base is, where our program is, what we've been looking for, the answers, the questions we've been having, the answers we've been looking for. You can't sit back and say, wow, I feel a little bit better tonight. What about you, Coach Jay?
Like I said, I don't want to, like how Nick Saban talked about on the Pat McAfee show, we can't be falling for the rat poison, like how Dan Lanning was trying to use the media. But, I will say this, I I really do like the progression. I think we're slowly but surely getting a lot better. We're making progress almost every single week. Offensive line is starting to establish physicality. Defensive line is starting to establish dominance up front. Our secondary, that's one thing. I'll say this. I don't care if I fall for the rat poison for this. I think Alabama might just have one of the best, if not the best, cornerback duo in the country. They might just have the best cornerback duo in the country. They are lockdown dudes that will not give up big plays, especially over the top. Again, the Texas game, we understand that happened. But we'll definitely get to that super chat because I see it. But besides the Texas game, we have not given up any big plays. These guys have always stayed in phase, always been in position. And even in the Texas game, for the most part, a lot of those big plays really happen against our safeties.
The safeties, yeah.
Guys. Not really Kool-Aid and Terrion. So that's a big reason why I think we've been so successful, really, is because of our outside guys.
Bro, Larez Moody, shout out to you for the $5. I wanted to see them on the road before I could say Built by Bama is back. Defense gave us sacks and turnovers. Let's throw the numbers at you. And shout out to you, Larez Moody, for the $5 super chat once again.
Appreciate you.
Let's talk about the numbers, man. We had 3 interceptions, two by linebackers. Let's not forget to add that 2 by linebackers. 1 by one of our best pass rushers, Chris Boswell. And that pick 6, man, it was good to see him have that. You know what that remind me of, bro? You remember Mac Wilson? Mac Wilson, that's the type of vibe it gave because of how aggressive he was on the ball. I mean, it was just they're confident in what they're getting, the play calls that they're getting. So I'm excited, man. And you said something that was key, man. They're believing. They're believing, man. This team looks like they're believing. Shout out to Adam East for the $10 super chat. Hey, y'all are killing it with the super chats right now. We definitely appreciate y'all. Hey, y'all, we got the GOAT in the back office, man. We about to bring him on. One more shout out. Hey, shout out to High Power TV, 199. Ole Miss scored 55 on LSU. 55. And on that note,
that was
because I know somebody who has a great take that they want to put out there right now. The man, the myth himself, Mr. Kyle Henderson. Welcome to the show, bro.
Yo, what's up, man? The crowd goes crazy.
Yes, sir.
Yo, man, look, I think tonight we got closer to 4 quarters of football. I don't think it was specifically 4 quarters, but I think it might have been 3.5. And I think a lot had to do with Saban just getting on their ass. And then after, in the post-game press conference, they were like, "Why'd you get fired up, Coach Saban?" And he said, "Well, Miss Terry told me if the team was playing poorly to get after them," and that's what he did. So Mad Saban is a good Saban, and I think it came at the perfect time. I am concerned about a couple of things, like those bad snaps are just something that I just want to see eliminated forever for the rest of the season. They just need to stop. The defense is almost playing at an elite level. Forcing 3 turnovers tonight was great. Caleb Downs came with it. Jahad Campbell, he played with it. He had 12 tackles tonight. So did Caleb Downs. And then you also have another interception by Chris Broswell, who took to the house. So another important factor was Alabama didn't turn the football over on offense. How far can this team go? I don't know, but they're built on defense. The offense needs to find itself at some point because you do have to throw the football. But I mean, this team is getting closer to what we think they could be. It trips me out looking at other scores because you can't compare scores, but looking at what Ole Miss did against LSU tonight, and then you look to what Alabama did against them. There's a lot to go over, man. So good W. Any road win in the SEC is good. You turn the page to Texas A&M. We watched that game today. Max Johnson, very capable quarterback, but Alabama with a big win tonight. You take this win, you take the momentum, and you go on to this next game against Texas A&M, another very challenging environment. But by the way, what's up?
Chilling, bro.
What's up, man? You guys
got a little echo on your side.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna take it off. I'm sorry. I know exactly exactly what it is. Is it there yet? Is it there still?
Uno, dos. Oh yeah, we good.
Yeah,
Roll Tide. That's my mic check sound. Uno, dos, uno, dos. But yeah, man, Kyle, man, look, you hit everything on top of the head, on top, like really. From my full assessment of this game, and I was able to calm down, early because I saw adjustments. Even though those first 2 drives didn't yield any big points, I saw adjustments in the play calling. I saw Milroe get calmed down.
Mhm.
Even the last drop back pass when he just took off, that I believe that was, hey, if you don't have this 1-2, go. They're giving you the run, go, but don't go too early because the liners give you this protection. And he adjusted greatly in that first half. And we talk about, you said something about not being able to score in the second half. You take 3 in the third quarter, could have been 7. You take 6 in the fourth quarter, that could have been 14. You know, so I could see these small adjustments being made as far as execution, but to be able to go into those moments and not get kicked out of pushed back out of field goal range like we used to, in Texas game. Those were big things that I saw. Coach Jay highlighted, Milroe's ability to make decisions and be smart with the game plan. I'm loving it, man.
Yeah, I'm looking over the defensive statistics. I want to bring them to the screen so everybody can see them. Just give me 1 second while I get those stats to the screen. I just uploaded Coach Saban's press conference too, so you guys can definitely check that out. Back on the YouTube channel. I'll try to get these up as soon as I can. Give me 1 second. But I think it is impressive what the defense continues to do, and I think there was a former player tonight. I think it was remember Joshua? Was it Joshua McMillan? Who played inside linebacker tonight?
Yep,
I saw
Josh.
Yeah, he tweeted. He was like, "Who the hell's calling the defense? Is it T-Rob or Kevin Still?" So that's still living in everybody's head. But I mean, look, whoever's calling the defense is doing a pretty good job. I mean, we continue to. I don't know. I'm bringing up the stats right now. It looked like they had how many sacks did these guys have?
We have four. We have four sacks. Yeah.
4 sacks.
Right? Yeah, four sacks tonight. Okay, so
it honestly could have been 6. It should have been 6.
Yeah, and I think that, so you have, let's say, 4, and then you had 5? So there's 9 sacks within the last 2 games. So that's the pass rush that we needed to see. I thought Dallas Turner played at a very high level. What did you guys see from Trez Marshall and Jahad Campbell? Because I know that coming into this, and thanks for the super chats, we appreciate those guys. Without Deontay Lawson, it was an opportunity to build depth at the inside linebacker position. What did you guys see from Jahad Campbell and Trez Marshall? Maybe I missed that in the opening, but what did you guys see from those two?
Go ahead, Coach Jay. That was something that he highlighted very clearly and very good. Go ahead, Coach Jay.
No, like I said, I gave them like a B. These guys were gamblers, like I was talking about a little earlier, man. I mean, like I said, these guys made some mistakes, obviously here and there that were costly as far as taking some of the wrong pursuit angles. And then of course just not being in the right place when it came to the run game, because again they had 100 over I believe 150 rushing yards, just because really not because the defensive line was not good in the interior. It was really because again with just mental mistakes from our linebackers. But we got to highlight the positive plays, which was they were extremely effective when it came to rushing the quarterback, blitzing those gaps, because it allowed our defensive linemen to get the opportunities, get the matchup that they want, that they can affect the passer. And then, of course, we got to talk about, of course, the turnovers, how effective they were, again, just how effective they were as pass rushers. Again, the turnovers that led to key offensive drives, that's where they had to come in. And so Trez Marshall and Jahad Campbell, especially these guys, when you make a mistake, you got to do it. I would rather you go all in if you make a mistake compared to just sitting around and just kind of doing nothing. That was kind of our biggest issue last year with the linebacking core. These guys are all about it. They're all about just pursuit, and they're all about trying to get to the ball carrier and just establish dominance and just overall aggression. We can be too aggressive at times, and that can be our fault. But I'd rather have that than just be too conservative at times with this defense. So I think that again, these linebackers are learning. Again, Jahad Campbell was that third guy for a reason, and I think once we start to increase his reps and he starts to, really understand exactly how to, what pursuit angles to take, and obviously what to be in the best position possible, especially in coverage, because he made some mistakes in pass coverage, but he easily made the adjustments, corrected it, and it results into to an interception, which I believe was an option. So these linebackers got to deserve a lot of credit. I know that's been a big critique right now for some of the fans, because obviously we gave up some big rushing yards, but overall wise, these linebackers are learning, and you got to love the upside and the continued growth that these guys were able to establish.
Can we highlight the fact that this is Jahad Campbell's first real game action?
First real game starting.
Like, he didn't play a lot of real game action. Even in the Kansas State game, he didn't play until the second half. So he's still getting game reps, getting into SEC style play. And the type of adjustments I saw this kid make tonight, the interception, like you said, was key. You have to be confident in the play calling and understand the playbook to be able to notice those keys. I saw this comment, guys. 5 of 12 on third down is too sketch. Nah, not when 2 of those incompletions resulted in 6 points. On the fourth down, you go for the field goal. He didn't take he took a sack on one, and then the other one, it was just a short run game, and we kicked the field goal. So taking care of the ball is important. We were 0 for 0 on fourth down. Why? Because we didn't put ourselves in bad position to where we had to gamble. We were always in field goal position when we got into those late positions, or it was a clear and obvious punt situation and the defense played solid. Shout out to Danko Hawkins for the $20, baby.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, like in third down conversions, we were not that good. But guess what happened as soon as the second half happened? I think we were at a point where we went 5 for 5 on third down conversions.
Yeah.
So I think the numbers could be a little, misleading at times. Again, we were 5 for 5, and that was just thanks because of Jalen Milroe and how efficient this offense was able to be. Just be in the right positions and just trusting the play calling.
We got the stats up. Go ahead, Kyle. Highlight
you look at the stats tonight for Alabama, and you see that Jalen Milroe up at the top left of your screen. He had a net total of 69 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns, clearly 53-yarder in the first quarter. And I tweeted out, I was like, just do that on recycle, right? I mean, the dude, out in open space is the most dangerous runner in all of college football. Jace McClellan, 63 yards with a touchdown. Roydell Williams with 44 yards. So this is the first game that Alabama didn't have a running back hit the 100-yard cycle because they did in the previous 2. But still, it's a very dominant duo. But I thought Mississippi State came in with the mentality to stop those 2 guys. And with Zach Arnett being a defensive-minded coach, that was certainly their game plan. Passing-wise, Jalen Milroe is 10 of 12 for 164 yards. With the longest of 27, he was sacked 4 times. I don't know if you guys touched on that at the beginning of the show. 2 of those sacks certainly on him.
Yes.
He's not forcing the football, though, which is the good thing. And I think he can have confidence in maybe absorbing those sacks or not creating a bad pass just because the defense is playing at such a high level. So I do like that. Amari Niblack, we were paging for him later in that game. He came up with a nice catch. So he has 3 receptions for 61 yards. How about we saw a little bit of creativity when they came and they ran almost like a jet sweep with Amari Niblack. I did like that. Jace McClellan had 2 receptions for 25 yards. Malik Benson, 27 yards, and then CJ Dupree. That was a nice pass when he that was something that Milroe kind of extended the play, kept his eyes downfield, and then found Dupree. And then Isaiah Bond with a reception for 17. I just think and probably this is on Milroe and some on Reese, but I mean, Isaiah Bond, Malik Benson, these guys need more than just 1 touch per game. That's something that I think needs to improve. But this team, they can rely on defense. And I just think if they get into a slug match where it's kind of like the street fight back and forth scoring mentality, are they able to perform at that level? Are they going to get to that level? Or is their defense just going to be that stout? And I ask that because you look what they did against Ole Miss. You saw Ole Miss and LSU tonight. I mean, that was a street fight. But those are the stats for this game. I'll bring up the overall stats played. Yes, and Jermaine, you're right. Jermaine Burton did play. I mean, he didn't even kick the pass, right?
He got hurt. They we're talking about how his ankle got rolled up on in one of those run plays.
What quarter was that in?
Early third quarter. I think it was the first that first play of the third quarter when the offense got the ball.
Okay.
So and you seen him on the sideline still celebrating and rooting his guys on.
Yeah, he's talking to his teammates.
Yeah,
just hyping them up.
So I'm excited. But Kyle, let's talk about some of these people that keep highlighting this. How many offensive pass attempts these wide receivers are giving? I understand we want to see it. We want to see these guys get 6-7 receptions apiece. But this offense, honestly, I think this receiving core has bought into their role. Make the big plays. All the catches that we saw from our receivers, to me, in this game tonight, all 13 of those receptions or 10 of those receptions made tonight were big plays, big receptions. Each one of them. Dupree, Oots, and Nick Black, they're the best safety valves you can ask for when we're talking about downfield receiving threats, working back to the ball in the middle of the field. That Dupree catch was just another amazing catch. Knee Black, I said it earlier, Kyle. Knee Black, we owe that man some money. The SEC, everybody, college football, ESPN, all that man some money. That was a catch in the back of that end zone.
Yeah. I was looking at that. Did it touch the back of? Did the football touch the grass like on the back when he came?
No, he palmed that. He palmed that ball with his left hand. His feet was in. Yeah. If you palm the ball and are able to hold it through that contact after your feet touch the ground, he already palmed it in his left hand. That should have been a catch. He carried it through and brought it in with the other hand. So, I mean, I don't know, but we still was able to come back and get three off of it. But
what was crazy was so this was the first game that I didn't go to of the season. So I didn't want to be driving back to like Starkville. So it was tough for me like not to go to the game. And same thing next week. I just think like from a financial perspective, it doesn't make sense for me I gotta fly, I gotta stay in a hotel, gotta rent a car. We're trying to like just get by right now in this like first year of like kind of the rebrand of the YouTube channel. So I'll be back with you guys next week. But so watching the game on TV, I love it because you can see like going to the game, you're up in the box, you have like your binoculars, but you have a much better vantage point on TV. And when I turned on the game, it was the Ole Miss LSU game, but it ran late. So they were going to put the game on ESPN News. And I'm sure this happened to all you guys. Did you see that?
I had to go on YouTube to watch it, man.
Oh, yeah. Dang it. You're so smart.
See, man, y'all got to get YouTube TV, man.
YouTube,
No, I know, but let me get this. It was dog racing, and I didn't even know it was a thing. Did you see those dogs? And
they was moving.
They were flying, and someone in the comment box was like, "Man, I'm glad we're not playing these dogs because they're flying." And I was like, they were crazy, but that was a good catch for Mari Niblack. I mean, he's such a weapon. Here are the season stats right now, statistically through the first 5 games of the season. When we look to the wide receivers for Alabama, so up at the top left, Isaiah Bond has 12 receptions, which leads the team through 5 games with 179 yards with a touchdown. Jermaine Burton 8 receptions for 189 yards, 2 touchdowns, and it's such a different statistical outlook for these wide receivers because in the past these guys were catching that in one game, right? Amari Niblack 8 receptions for 158 yards. Kobe Prentice 8. Kobe Prentice, when's the last time he got a pass?
The Ole Miss game. No. That was USF game when he came in and made the key catches.
He hasn't caught a ball in 2 games. Right. Jace McClellan, Roydell Williams, CJ Dupree has 5. Malik Benson has 5. You think, well, that's kind of crazy to me. This is what stands out to me. I mean, the numbers are low, clearly. But Ja'Cory Brooks has 2 receptions this year for 5 yards. And Malik Benson, who caught for, what did he catch for, like 6,000 or something like that? In junior college, he has, what does he have? 5 for 65 yards?
60, yeah.
Man, the most we saw of him was when he was catching passes for Bryce Young for the pro day.
Right. But the thing is, I see growth even in his development in his offense. Mm-hmm. He's working. He's understanding that every route is not meant for him. I saw a key play with him and I want to say the Niblack corner route. Mm-hmm. That corner route. That was a key play because of Benson's release on that outside. It's hard to keep up with that dude. And the more that Milroe becomes comfortable in this pass pro, stepping up in the pocket, trusting his protection, trusting, understanding guys are going to be around me, doesn't mean that they're at me, they're around me, and trusting those reads. I think we're going to see an explosion from this offense. And I got them possibly doing it against LSU. That secondary looked very shaky against Ole Miss. And I'm not used to seeing that from LSU. And that defensive staff is struggling right now to try to find answers.
They miss Corey Raymond to a T as far as teaching technique, and then it's just it's drama there. But I mean, like I said, when you take a look at the catches, obviously the yards are low. But I think the most impressive part about this, and this is going back to Coach Smook's point, is look at the yards per catch. When they're catching a pass, they're balling 23 yards, 14.9, 19.8. I mean, these guys are making big plays, which are leading the touchdown drives, this is what we thought this offense was going to be. We knew that this was not going to be a Bryce Young, Brian Dable, I'm trying to think who else, a Steve Sarkisian, Mike Locksley, Lane Kiffin type of offense. We knew that we're gonna pound the rock, we're gonna play efficient football, we're gonna play game management style football, and then the defense is going to take care of a lot of the work. And we knew that this was going to happen. So I'm not too surprised by the numbers. I'm actually more surprised about the yards per catch. But again, it's just indicating that for the most part, we're making the right possible plays and the right possible situations, which are leading to touchdown drives, which is, obviously going to lead to a lot of success.
Hey, you guys want to go over a couple college football scores from the top 25? Does that sound good?
For
Get
sure.
you guys' comments inside the comment box. So, Washington in Arizona right now, the fourth quarter with 10 seconds left. It looks like Washington's leading that game by a score of 31-24. Nevada and Fresno State playing some Pac-12 style after dark. Those are going to be the Pac-12 teams of the future right there. 27-0. Alabama defeats Mississippi State 40-17. What is your guys' thoughts on this one? Georgia and Auburn. I watched this game. It was 10-10 at halftime. And then did you see Brock Bowers completely? He turned so I've been playing a little bit of Madden. I've been trying to. I'm so busy right now, but I got the new Madden and I've been trying to play it. But I'm getting dominated. It's just like this whole, it's just, I'm out of sorts. Brock Bowers turned into the X factor. You couldn't stop him. He caught for over 158 yards. Carson Beck did a good job getting the football to him in that second half. He throws for over 313 yards. But I still don't feel that this Auburn team is the number one team right now in the country. What do you guys think? We'll start with you, Eric. What do you think?
Absolutely not. They are not the number one team in the country. They are a shell themselves. I think just like us, they're still trying to find their rhythm. Like, think about this for a second. During the two games that they've played in SEC play, they've only won by 10 points. That's the most they won by, which was against a poor South Carolina football team. They're not as dominant in the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball like we think they are. I think that for the most part, Carson Beck hasn't played bad. I think that overall wise, for the role that they're trying to give him, he's played pretty solid. But overall wise, I mean, their linebackers, I'm going to be completely honest, they don't look as fast and as explosive. And again, they got some five-star guys. They don't look as fast as explosive as our linebackers. The interior does not look as strong as it used to be. And I think a lot of it has to do with, I think losing Barry Alexander is a big loss. Just that overall big dominance, quick explosive dude to absolutely just jam up that front. That's a big loss for them. And I don't think they haven't recovered from that. Georgia looks pretty, I'm not going to sit up here and say that they look pretty vulnerable, because they're still a great team. This is still a playoff caliber football team, but they're nowhere near as good as they were the last couple of years. If anything, you can make an argument the best team right now in the country is Texas.
Right.
As far as the most complete team, them in Ohio State, I'm not even going to count the Pac-12 schools. Those are pretty much Big 12 schools from 5-6 years ago. No defense whatsoever. Michigan, for the most part, I still have questions for Michigan. I don't think that they've kind of got their comfort level. Penn State offensively, they are suspect. And then Ohio State, I think Ohio State and Texas are the two most complete teams right now. But Georgia is nowhere near right now the number one team in the country.
Coach Smook, I want to ask you something. So when you go to Michigan, right? Michigan right now came into this game before they played Nebraska with the number one scoring defense. And again, today, they allow under 10 points against Nebraska. There's an old adage that defense wins championships. Are we buying into this Michigan team? Have they just not played anybody? Is it safe to taste a little bit of the Jim Harbaugh Kool-Aid? What's your take on Michigan after today?
I mean, obviously they're doing something consistently right in their conference. We can say that they generally handle their conference. Their problem has always been dropping that one big one against either Michigan State or Ohio State, and then that one unannounced, unexpected one that they'll drop. 1 year I believe it was Penn State, and then another year I believe it was like Iowa State. It was teams that you shouldn't see Michigan losing to. So to see their defense continue this type of performance, and then they're able to correlate this into offensive production, it's a good thing to see. And I mean, and just to go back with the Georgia point, man, I don't see that from Georgia this year. I don't see their defense going out being dominant and their offense moving smoothly. Yes, Brock Bowers had that moment, but there's going to be defensive coordinators in this conference that's going to be able to scheme and bracket that guy and live with, shutting him down and forcing you to rely on that inconsistent run game, on that inconsistent interior line push, on the inconsistency of your wide receivers on the perimeter getting separation. Same thing we dealt with early in the season. And like I said, to my point, that schedule is going to hurt them in the long run, because these are teams that they should be just going and manhandling, but they're getting exposed. They're not getting the opportunity to play against top 5, top 10 teams to start the season off with. So this really benefits us as a team compared to how Georgia's set up. And I'm excited to see how this season continues forward, because like you said, Colin and Coach Jay, this is a weird season. This is a weird season. It's wide open right now.
Plenty of parity.
Let's give our top 4 right now in college football. I'll go first. So I'm going to actually go with number 1 being Texas. I will go with number 2 being Michigan. I will go with number 3 being Georgia. And my number 4 right now, it's kind of tough. Who would be my number 4? I guess, does Ohio State have enough to be number 4? I guess with the win over
I
Notre
think they do.
Dame, right? Okay, so there's my top 4. So number 1, Texas, number 2, Michigan, number 3, Georgia, and number 4, Ohio State. There's my top 4. Jarek, what about you?
Number 1 for me is Texas. I got Ohio State number 2. Number 3, I want to put Michigan. I'll switch that. I'm gonna put Florida State in there only because of their strength of schedule and because I just think that they play more competition. I really do like Jordan Travis and Johnny Wilson as a receiver and Keon Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, their secondary is suspect, and I think their offensive line's got to be a little bit more consistent. But I do like Florida State. And then for the most part, I think number 4, I would probably say. I would probably put. I'll put Michigan. I'll put Michigan number 4.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Jared.
I don't have Georgia. No, not a top 4 team in my opinion. Nope.
Smook.
I'm gonna go similar. I'm gonna go with Texas being number 1. I really do believe we played probably the best team in the nation in week 2, and they were still trying to figure out their identity, and we see that steady improvement they're making. Number 2, I'm gonna have to go with I know Ohio State just handled, they had a tough one against Notre Dame, but Notre Dame is not a pushover this year. I think Notre Dame is solid. I think they could be competitive in the ACC. They could possibly have a chance to win the ACC if that was their conference type thing. So anytime you have an ACC competitor that can win that conference and just kind of dominate it, you have to kind of respect them. So for Ohio State to go and do that to Notre Dame and go and win a big game like that, I would place them at number 2. Number 3, I would have Georgia there. And number 4, only because, like I said, this Michigan team, they're doing what they're supposed to do and handling the teams that the way that they're handling their schedule. I have to put Michigan there with a close Ohio State right there next to Michigan. So at 4. So that game is going to tell a lot for what these teams are going to be. And also, Texas has the Red River rivalry coming up next week.
Next week, Oklahoma's defense has been playing really well. I got to give them a lot of credit.
Really well. And we'll find out just how good this Texas team is if we're putting them at number 1, taking on Oklahoma. Okay, let's touch on 2 more things. Okay, so let's talk Colorado, and then I want to ask you, and this is for you inside the comment box right now, who is the biggest pretender? And this is for you guys to answer. Who is the biggest pretender? Is it Florida State or is it Notre Dame? Florida State or Notre Dame? Okay, who is the biggest pretender for those 2 teams? But right now, let's talk about just some topics right now across the world of college football. Colorado has a rebound game, I guess you could call that, against USC. They were down 34-14 at the halftime break. Shadori Sanders able to will them back. They lose by 7 to USC. Coach Smook, your thoughts on this Colorado team and also probably USC. Is this USC team capable with Caleb Williams at quarterback to kind of be in the fold? None of us mentioned them within our even top 5. Your takeaways on Colorado and quickly on USC.
All right, Colorado, I think this team is exactly what I expected them to be. A lot of talent in that first, 12 to 13 man deep, talking about meaningful gameplay, making things happen. That's where they're at with their talent level and what Coach Prime has done in a short amount of time. So this game just solidified it more. What I thought about this team, they were going to be sparky, they were going to compete, they were going to take on the mentality of their coach, and it's showing. And yes, they exposed USC. This USC team, like other Lincoln Riley coach teams, has no intentions of paying attention to the defensive side of the ball. I honestly believe he's against having some type of defensive staff that believes in playing defense, because there's no way you go out there and you have Shador Sanders just stay that calm throughout a game like that. At every instance, you could have been rattled, Shador, but USC never really put the pressure on Shador. They were beating themselves up early in that game. They were being rushed. The moment was kind of big, and we saw that. And when they came out in that second half, they exposed that USC defense and that team as a whole. Caleb Williams is a tremendous talent, but overall, That USC team is not it for me. They're not top. They won't end the season top 10.
Jarek, when we talk about Colorado, are they a top 25 team? Are they a top 20 team? Certainly not a top 15. What's your take on Colorado? And then give me your take on USC.
I think Colorado, I don't think they're a top 25 school. I do think that this is a 7-1 football program. I think that their offense is pretty explosive. I think they got the skill position players as far as talent-wise. I think they have a really, really good core of guys. You ever see a 4-star true freshman go in there and just absolutely just put it on USC, having a $196 throughout that game. Shedeur Sanders is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And when you have a quarterback like that, you always have a chance. The offensive line, both sides has got to get better. That's why I can't put them in there, because both sides they're just not big enough. They're not strong enough. They're not physical enough to really kind of handle that top 25 type competition. And they will play a lot tougher defenses, believe it or not, compared to USC, because that defense is absolutely atrocious. I have no words to describe Lincoln Riley and Alex Grinch and that overall defense. And they have talent. I mean, Cobb is going to be an NFL draft pick. Barry Alexander could end up being in first round conversations. They have 4- and 5-star guys. Damani Jackson as an outside corner was a 5-star. I mean, they got the guys. But I have no words to describe them. USC is definitely going to be protected. What was the second question?
The second question was just quickly on just USC, but that's fine. I mean, I think we've covered the Pac-12 teams. Okay, so kind of in closing, let's go around the table real quick and give MVP. Give me an MVP on the offense from this Alabama versus Mississippi State game, and then give me an MVP on a defense. And make your final thought. We'll start with Coach Smook. Give me your MVP on offense. Give me your MVP on defense. Same with you inside the comment box. Give me an offensive MVP, a defensive MVP against Mississippi State. And we'll start with you, Coach Smook. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go with Jalen Milroe for the offensive MVP. He was the center of all the production of everything that happened with the offense tonight. Even had a significant impact on how the offensive line played with his decision making tonight. Early struggles, but was able to weather the storm and just continue to get better. So offensive MVP Jalen Milroe. Defensive MVP is a tough one because we just had so many big plays on the defensive side. But if I had to go with the consistent play of someone tonight, I would have to go with possibly Caleb Downs, man. The kid was all over the field. He had the big interception. He had some I think 3 tackle for losses, I want to say. He played a solid game. And like I said earlier in the week, I said this would be his coming out party, and I just wanted to check the stats. Yeah, Caleb Downs had 13 total tackles as a true freshman safety, 5 solo tackles. Almost had a sack on the safety blitz when he came back there, and he had 2 tackles. 2.5 tackles for losses. So this kid is flying around and not playing like a true freshman. He looks like a third-year player out there, and tonight he gets my defensive MVP.
All right. Go ahead, Jarek.
Offensive MVP, I'll give it to Jalen Milroe. I thought he did a really good job staying composed in the pocket, going through his reads, going through his progressions, not being phased at all, not making careless mistakes, taking what the defense gave them. And if he couldn't really trust his eyes, he would just, for the most part, either throw it away or just take the sack and still give this team positions and let Will Reichert do his magic. That's a Lou Groza Award potential winner right there. So just give him an opportunity to make those field goals instead of just throwing turnovers or giving away the football, and we'll be fine there. Defense MVP, I'm gonna give it to Jahad Campbell for your first meaningful game against them, and to have 9 tackles and to have a pick which led to a scoring drive. He did make some mistakes. He wasn't perfect, but the fact that he wasn't fazed by his mistakes and that he was able to come and rebound and make certain adjustments in both coverage and the run game and make huge impactful plays. That's a kid that's learning in his first meaningful game as a backup linebacker. He's learning, and this is a kid that's going to be the future of this program. So I got to give the Jahad Campbell for what he was able to provide tonight.
All right. I'm going to, since you guys gave the MVPs, I am going to highlight this young man right here. He will be 72 years old on October 31st. It is Coach Saban's birthday month. Tonight, Coach Saban was pissed off. This was the Saban that we've been wanting. People were crying on social media. I saw someone say, Coach is back. So Coach Saban getting after their ass tonight. And in the post game, you can watch the press conference. It's on our YouTube channel. People were like, what happened, Coach, in the first quarter? He said, listen, Miss Terry told me that if they weren't playing very well, to get after them. So he's like, I did what I was told. Coach Saban hasn't done this all season. We've all been waiting for it. And I think once he did that, you completely saw this team get into high gear. I know Terran Arnold was getting it. You saw that on TV, and so was everybody else. So I think
Tommy Reese got it too.
Everybody did. Everybody did. Yeah. So look, Miss Terry doing her thing and, puppeteering this team and puppeteering Coach Saban. And, Coach Saban listened to the GOAT, and that was just incredible to see. And, he was saying, what the F is going on? And everyone was thinking the same thing. So you trust in Saban. It's his birthday month. And that was a big win in Starkville. Look, Zach Arnett is an up-and-coming coach. I like his business sense. That it's a challenging environment, 100%. And I think going into that environment will just give you half of a taste what it's going to be against College Station, because you think about it, that's double probably the capacity what they're going to see next week. College Station, I mean, it's packed. It's a double the size stadium. Need to come with it against College Station and Jimbo Fisher. The last time that Alabama was in Texas A&M, it was actually the Aggies who defeated Alabama. So when you're looking at the redemption, that is a game that Alabama certainly has on mind. Aniyah Smith today, he had 72 yards receiving and an 82-yard punt return, very dangerous player. And then you also have Max Johnson, who's going to be their quarterback going into this week. So Coach Smook does a fantastic job. Jarek does a great job. These guys have been strong supporters of the YouTube channel, along with Coach Sean, who is off tonight. My name is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Please hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. We posted Coach Saban's post-game presser. I'm about to drop my What Did We Learn video, which will be right here on this YouTube channel here in a few minutes. I'll be back tomorrow morning taking your calls. We can break down this game. You guys can call in and give your take, and then I'll be on live on Sunday night, and then the coaches will be back on Monday night as we turn the page to Texas A&M. Fellas, anything else? We good? You guys want to give any shout outs? Thank you for the super chats. I saw that you guys are taking care of Jarek and Smook. All the super chats go back to the host, which is Smook and Jarek. So thank you very much for supporting them. I really appreciate it. Looks like you guys got a good amount of super chats, which is awesome. Really makes me happy.
Everybody.
Yeah, you guys are doing a really good job, and I really appreciate it. Anything else, Smook or Jarek?
I just want y'all to think about this when we talk about this Bama team. I really want y'all to take this in. Georgia has given up 20 points the last two games. Both of these teams, UAB, Auburn, both of their offenses are ranked in the bottom 100 of college football right now. Both of these offenses. Neither offense has a passing game. This team struggles to stop the run. We've seen what our offense can do when we're able to complete passes and get into the passing game. If Georgia's defense is the measuring stick, quote unquote, for college football, I think we're in good shape. And that's my last take.
Coach Jarek, anything else you got?
No, I would say shout out to you guys, shout out to the fans out there that's watching this. And I also would just say this as well. For anyone, again, that's complaining about this offense not being explosive, being lackadaisical, being, for the most part, just running a slow but efficient offense. I come on, man. Y'all gotta relax. You have to chill. This is the type of offense that we expected to be, expected to happen, to be dominant up front. When Nick Saban said that we wanted to go back to old traditional football, this is exactly what it is. And we're starting to get it. And when you take a look at the rest of college football right now, Ole Miss put up 55 points against an LSU team that was considered to be a favorite from the SC West. We only allowed 10 points against that same Ole Miss team that put up 55, which, by the way, for the people that sat up there and said that Jackson Dart's not a great quarter, that he's not a solid quarterback, and that Ole Miss is not great. Well, look what Ole Miss has been doing. Really, besides us, they've been averaging, I think, close to 40 points per game.
Yeah.
So
averaging 50 against us.
Exactly. So it's just this Bama team, for the most part, they're showing progression. Are we a finished product? Absolutely not. There's still a lot of things to improve on. But like I said before, this is a wide open race for a national championship. There is not one team, not one, that I believe is the ultimate runaway favorite for winning this entire thing. Every team has their weaknesses. Every team has a lot of their kinks that they have to work on, and so do we, right? Georgia almost got embarrassed by Auburn, and they don't even have a passing game. So every team has got their wrinkles. So overall wise, let's just enjoy the ride, take it one game at a time, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Don J, closing it out with the super chat. We appreciate you. He says, as you've seen Ohio State's run defense as well as wasn't good against Notre Dame. And by the way, Notre Dame once again escaped Duke with that last that under. I know Duke, right? And then before that, it was Florida State and Boston College throwing belly blows. So. But that's another topic for another show. But anyways, thanks for joining us tonight. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. We appreciate you guys being here right here on Bama Football on YouTube. From beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Kyle Henderson, Coach Smook, and Coach Jarek saying good night, fam.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.